So, okay.
Namaste, friends. I am Dr. Boshudha from Think Tech India, welcoming all of you to our special show. We have a special guest today, Mr. Satoru Nagao. Mr. Nagao is a professor, is a defense expert, and is a political strategist. And he is also a very good, very famous Indian lover. Right, Mr. Nagao? Welcome to our show. So, Mr. Nagao, my first question to you: how you become so much adorant about Indian politics? How you love so much Indian politics? What is the source of your interest in this field?
Okay. Uh, because I belong to the 16 titles, including the fellow non-resident Hudson Institute or the Japan Forum of Strike Studies in Japan or in India, the 4 titles I have, and in Sri Lanka also. So my view is, my background is multinationals, but mainly I stay in Tokyo. So my view is reflecting the view from Tokyo. The Modi is very popular leader, especially the Prime Minister was Shinzo Abe, because he is very close friend of Prime Minister Modi. And under him, Prime Minister Modi is a real strong leader, I believe, because when we check many agreements, before the Modi was sworn in, every time that we check the media in India, for example, the summit has happened. Just before the summit, we can see this agreement will happen. This agreement has happened. We can see many articles, but that will not happen. That is a common pattern because detail hasn't decided yet, and under the prime minister, the Indian government is a coalition government, and the some coalition partner oppose this kind of agreements, and that was the pattern. So that's why even if the summit has happened between the 2 countries or 4 countries, something like that, every time agreements we expected or media expected hasn't agreed in the summit. So that's why the view from the journalists need to write, it will happen, it will happen, it will happen, because this is the only chance they can write the article about this, because it will not happen. They know that. That's why they cannot write if they are waiting to write. So that is a pattern. But since the Modi was sworn in, and when the media say this agreement will happen, we expected, that has happened, really happened. That is a big change. So, for example, one of the good example is the India-US defense agreement. There are 3 agreements related to the logistical support agreement or the communication or others, the digital information. These agreements, the negotiation has started in the beginning of 2000. But agreement has happened under Modi. So 15 years later, all of 15 years later, the Modi sworn in, and 1 year later, all of agreement has happened. So why? Because under the coalition government, under the Manmohan Singh government, Manmohan Singh himself maybe a good guy, I think, but at the same time, his government is a coalition partner. His government is a coalition government, and including the Communist Party of India, and this party strongly oppose defense cooperation with the United States, and every time they oppose it, and so every time negotiation has happened, not progressed. But under Modi, it has really happened. So Modi is strong leader and achieve many things. That is my impression about Modi's foreign policy. My very important part, I believe.
How Modi has changed the Indian foreign policy?
That's a good question. Case by case, he changed policy. Of course, traditionally, India's policy is India's foreign policy, and uh, current government or former government, there is a consistency. That's true. But at the same time, under Modi, Modi is a strong leader and it has achieved many. And in case of in case interesting part is case by case basis. Because of the I'm Japanese, firstly I want to talk about the relation between India and Japan. But in this case, Japan and in Japan with Japan, the defense cooperation between India and Japan progress much. For example, in 2007, when Prime Minister Shinzo Abe addressed in the Indian Parliament, suggested Quad and Indo-Pacific, this idea concept. Um, that idea was quite new, and most of the country has started to run the idea, but not accepted. But since 2014 and since 2012, 2012 the Prime Minister Abe sworn in, and 2014 Prime Minister Modi sworn in. After that, revitalized this idea since 2017, and the Quad framework or Indo-Pacific concept was spread to the world. So, India-Japan cooperation has progressed under Modi. Now, all the three services, Army, Navy, Air Force, all of three conducted the joint exercises. And even if this is not Quad basis, Quad country, all of the Quad country cooperate the defense area very much. Of course, this is Indian, US, Indian, Australia, Indian, Japan, every time bilateral basis. But the Modi, it has progressed much. And in case of the Malabar exercises include all of the four Quad countries. So he progressed much. And another country, if I pointed that, how about Indian US, Indian Russia, or Indian Israel, Indian Taiwan? Every time this has changed. So that's why under the Modi, promoting the foreign relation has really made. That is the pattern. I need to say. Defense agreement between USA, India and USA, I have already mentioned. So I can talk about Russia, Israel, or Taiwan. But I should not talk too much because this is a conversation. Maybe if you want to know, maybe you should ask and I will reply. Maybe. Thank you.
Modi's policy on Israel and Palestine. What is your opinion?
Ah, interesting. Israel, indeed, in case of India and Israel, or India and Taiwan, related with India's Soviet relation, I believe, because this has happened since formal diplomatic relation between India and Israel has happened 1992, and India-Taiwan relation, of course, this is formal or not, is a little legal problem. But anyway, because Taiwan is an independent country or not, is maybe a political problem. But at the same time, I believe Taiwan is independent. But anyway, that is my opinion. So that's why. But India-Taiwan relation has also happened in 1995. So after the collapse of the Soviet Union, and India do not care about the relation with the Soviet Union, so India is free now and cooperate with Israel, the Taiwan, maybe the reputation in the Western countries. So that's why they can cooperate, I believe. But that time was just a starting point. Under Modi, it has progressed much. In case of Israel, for a long time, Israel sent weapons to India in the 1971 war or the 1999 the Kargil war. Uh, but uh, uh, but this relation is not progressed since 1992. But after that, first Israel expand arms trade in 1990 with India, and since Modi swore in, Prime Minister Modi was the first Prime Minister to visit Israel. At that time, so when Modi swore in, first foreign minister was Mr. Rawaj, and Rawaj takes charge of the parliament committee to cooperate with Israel. So she was a very strong promoter the relation with Israel, I think. But at the same time, Modi uh, government, Prime Minister Modi himself thinks he is a close friend of Prime Minister Netanyahu, and both countries, India and Israel, are victim of the Islamic radical terrorists. So that's why they cooperate in the counter-terrorism area or arms trade area. And finally, the Prime Minister Modi visited Israel in 2017 and in the United Nations when something condemns the Israel move, counter terrorist move, maybe India do not vote. That has happened. My background related with the domestic politics related with Israel is for a long time the Congress party governed India, and they for them the Muslim in India is important supporter in the election. So that's why, but these Islamic supporters do not vote for the BJP. So that's why these are the one aspect BJP Indian government hesitate to cooperate with Israel, I think. But it is also true too. The Islamic terrorists came from Pakistan, came from the radical in the Middle East, attacked India or Israel. So as a victim of the Islamic terrorists, there is reason to cooperate each other and promote each other. Modi, I believe. And this is related with Taiwan, I believe, because under Modi, Modi changed this India's foreign policy. In case of the Taiwan and Israel, drastically indeed. Because in case of the Taiwan, I have already mentioned after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the India started to cooperate with Taiwan along with Israel. But at the same time, and this has gradual process in 2008 was the last year. India's public document mentioned about one China policy. But so 2010, when we check, public document came from Indian government, we cannot find the word one China policy. But at the same time, Prime Minister Modi sworn in 2040. Important word came from the foreign minister Shraj has happened in the interview of I think that time the Times of India, I think she mentioned if China wants India to respect one China policy, China should respect one India policy, she said. One India policy is the meaning all of the territorial issue in the India-China border, and China should accept India's claim. So that's a very important step because when Prime Minister Jawaharlal supports China, of course, that time China under the civil war, and they claimed they integrated China. But anyway, that time India was first group of countries to admit current China as a Chinese government. But 1962, it has changed drastically, and because of the China's attack to India, and but relation with Taiwan has progressed under Prime Minister Modi. So 2016, when President Tsai Ing-wen sworn in, under the Modi government, they are planning to send a delegation. Well, finally, they canceled, but it hasn't happened. But 2020, under the COVID-19 crisis, this ceremony was online basis, hybrid basis, but online. So that's why the BJP sent government delegation and join online. So Galwan incident, which killed 20 Indian soldiers or 76 injured in the Indian side, China side unknown. That has happened 1 month after this ceremony of the Tsai Ing-wen, President Tsai Ing-wen second term. So Of course, they enter India with maybe iron rod or the sword or these ancient weapon, brutal weapon before this ceremony has happened. But there is a possibility this Galvan incident attack, China's attack, and India's delegation joined the ceremony in the President Tsai Ing-wen's inaugural ceremony. That is linked because China when the because the Prime Minister Shinzo Abe claimed Taiwan crisis is Japan's crisis or something like that. That he was assassinated after that. Of course, there is no evidence that China involved this assassination, but anyway, when someone related with the Taiwan issue, China's reaction is very strong. That is true. So that's why under the Modi is a strong leader, a bold leader, and so in case of Israel, in case of Taiwan, he promotes relation at the same time, and so that is a new change. And I strongly support the Prime Minister Modi's move. And but this is a drastic change part of the Indian foreign policy, I believe. Thank you.
Our viewer Bisharanjan Das asks you two questions. How the 5 trillion economy as proclaimed by PM Modi, as we are confused in regards to high rise in share market while rupees decline against dollar. And the second one is what could have been PM stand in case of Indo-Canadian relationship.
Oh, the first one is this is rely on the perception of the rich people, simply said. Because if rich people want to get more money out of state, because they have the sense to invest their money. But at that time, for example, interest rate is high, they will send the money and the money and because of the high interest rate or something like that. So in where is the destination for the rich people to invest is a matter of concern. But interest rate is changed as a policy because interest rate is related with the price rise or other things. In case many countries faces this problem now, and people and many rich people think U.S. dollar is beneficial for them. That's why they buy the dollar. So that's why the dollar is very strong. So India is rising. So it is no doubt, and indeed, weak currency contributes export. So that's why Indians do not think this is a bad thing. This India should exploit this situation to develop the manufacturing sector to sell the product to the other country if the currency is weak. So that's why this currency is weak, this currency is strong. So that's why the weak currency is disadvantage. That's not true. This is just a situation. So how to exploit this matter? That is my answer. So I'm not an expert of the economy, but this is but view from the politics from the country strategically. I should say I think. But India, Canada, right? Canada is a little difficult situation, but Canadian believes Indian intelligence service assassinate in their country, especially the Canadian citizens, which originally came from India, Sikh radicals, leaders. And the view from India, they are terrorists. So that's why the problem hasn't happened. The Canadian Sikh is the foundation of the sovereignty of Canada. And the Indian Sikh, they can stay in Canada simply despite their terrorists. This is not one kind of safe haven for the terrorists. That's not good. But at the same time, maybe it will will improve the near future, I believe, because in this case, personally, the president should not abolish these and negotiate with public space. Because this is independence issue and how to deal with the terrorists, how to eliminate terrorist secretly. This kind of issue should be shadowed the politics. And that's better, I believe. So, but despite this, there are many political issues in Canada and they deal with the public space and so emotional, it could be the emotional issue between two countries. So that's why they should solve this separately. This kind of thing. And India and Canada both understand relations important. That's why interface growth, not just now, but in the future, is not a big problem, I believe.
Sir, my next question to you, how Modi is dealing with Russia and Ukraine?
Yeah, that is a problem. Yes, I'm Japanese. So view from Japanese, Japan stand with Ukraine. One stance is Russia. That's why Modi's Russia policy is not comfortable. But at the same time, the view from the background history of the India-Russia relation, indeed, it is understandable. Because India thinks India's strategic autonomy, but when we check the Article 9 of the treaty concluded in 1971 between India and Soviet Union, when we check the Article 9 of this treaty, mutual cooperation against the third country militarily is written. So that's why this treaty, view from Japan's definition, this is a lie, formal lie. So that's why for a long time, Russia was an ally of India. In this case, view from Japanese, America is ally of Japan for a long time. So now Japan starts to trust the United States at a certain level. If Russia is a long-term ally of India, of course India trusts Russia at a certain level. That's understandable. So that's why this is the relation. So if the Japanese wish India decouple with Russia, of course, the same long time is needed. That's understandable. This is a relation. So that's why just now India is neutral. India is because of great power. India do not think, in Modi government do not think Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a good thing. But at the same time, Russia is traditional ally. At least in the past and for a long time, Russia continues to support India. That's understandable. So that's why India want to be the neutral, and under the Modi government, this is the same situation, and it should not affect the relation between India and Japan or India and US or other countries. That is understandable. But if Japanese, as a Japanese, if I can say something as a Japanese, currently China's move around Japan is collaborated with Russia very deeply. North Korea also. North Korea is ally of Russia now, and North Korea is cooperate with China also. So that's why, and the Soviet Union restrict export weapon to China or Pakistan, but Russia export weapon to China and recently Pakistan also. So that's why. If Japanese can say something about India's foreign policy toward Russia, maybe for India, Russia is not trustworthy. But at the same time, this is the view from Japan, view from India. Yes, long-term relation is not easy to change. That's understandable. Thank you.
Sir, my question to you, how Modi is giving repeating reply to China and Pakistan?
China and Pakistan, China engaged in Pakistan, so Modi's government's reaction was very good, I believe, because simply said, very strong. Pakistan support terrorists for a long time, but India hasn't bombed a terrorist camp in Pakistan before the Modi swore in as a prime minister. So, especially the special forces attacked the camp in the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and after that, Pakistan relocated this camp to the inside of the Pakistan, but Barakat bombing has happened in 2019. So this message is very clear. If the Pakistan support terrorists, India will attack terrorists. So in any place. So that is a good message, I believe. And this military operation has succeeded because in the Modi government is working very well. Check the detail and coordinate well, and it has happened. Well, not only the military, but also the politically, foreign policy or domestic policy, or military operation. All of these three are linked in the Barakot strike. I have already published an English article about it, and that's something beautiful military operation. So that's why Modi's government has succeeded strategically, and Modi's government is working very well. In case of China, the Galwan incident has happened, and this has a very big incident. But at the same time, view from expert like me, Modi's government's the reaction towards China's invasion in the India-China border is very proper. China is relocate the high-tech weapon to the India-China border against India. So India also reacts to concentrate firepower in the India-China border. And when China shows a very high-tech weapon in the India-China border, India tried to test the latest missiles. 12 in the 45 days autumn in the 2022. 2020, sorry, 20, after the Galwan incident, half a year after the Galwan incident. So that's why what India has done is a good level of the strength, showing strength has happened. So Modi is strong leader and showing India's power. That is true. So when China push, India try to push back. It's a Modi's policy. So now, even if the SCO, Shanghai's, Shanghai's Corporation Organization, SCO, last year India was host country. And this year, that time the summit was online. And this year, Kazakhstan was the host country. That India do not need to join in person, but Modi canceled to join. And Prime Minister Jaishankar visited. So this attitude is because China, Xi Jinping hasn't eased the tension in the Indian-China border area, despite they invaded. So, so Modi cannot show the smile in front of him. Of course, some cases, some exceptional cases exist, but most cases India maintain this stance. Modi maintain this stance. That's very good. That's very good, strong stance. So that's why to deal with China, deal with Pakistan, this is good. And view from Japan, currently Quad country, including Japan, cooperate with India, providing information, providing the political statement, providing weapons to strengthen India-China border. And that is, and India accepted. India accepted this kind of cooperation with other Quad countries. So view from Quad countries, Modi's policy toward the India-China border and cooperating with us is welcome. Very welcome move. So we are very happy to do that. So that's why China will face one situation. When they need to deal with India-China border, they need to worry about the Pacific side because Japan is located, US is located, Australia is located, or other Southeast Asia, Vietnam is located, India is supporting, and Philippines now, BrahMos missiles, they are locating. Taiwan is cooperate with India and now locating. All of these countries cooperate each other. That's why China faces multiple fronts at the same time. They need to divide defense budget multiple direction. In this case, they cannot concentrate in the China border. To form such kind of situation, Modi's policy contributes a lot, and this is very good policy, I believe. Thank you.
Sir, my last question to you: what is Modi's foreign policy focusing on the others neutral countries of the world?
Neutral itself, India can decide anytime. That's why currently it is option, I believe. But view from Japanese, which country is trustworthy? Maybe if we check our stance, we are the trustworthy, want to say. So that's why if something has happened, we will support India. That's why we should promote relation more faster, we think. Because currently, in front of Japan, Russia, China, North Korea, three countries collaborate very deeply. Because the Chinese strategic bomber fly to the Russia and using the Russian base regularly, that in military, this is very secret. So that's why this cooperation is deepening very strongly. Chinese strategic bomber is a very sensitive weapon, but you can use the Russian military bases a little bit deep relation between Russia and China. And the Chinese naval ship and Russian naval ship coordinated, circling Japan again and again. So even if it's near Tokyo, we can find the ship in the Pacific side of Japan. This means that. So that's why Russia and China coordinate very deeply recently. So that's why the situation is changing. If India choose Japan as a friend, that is very welcome view from Japanese, and we're waiting such kind of situation. But at the same time, currently India try to be neutral, and this India will decide in the future if something has happened. That time India will be the decisive actor to decide the fate of this conflict. Indian side is winner side. That will happen, I think. So that is understandable. So as a Japanese, we are waiting India's decision, and we want to be the friend of India.
Sir, thank you so much. You came to our channel, give your valuable views to us. For the next time, we'll invite you for some other topic. Please come to our channel again. And the audience, please subscribe, watch, and view our channel. Comments on our comment section. And please watch Think Tank India. Namaskar.